the next and final episode of the Sweet 16 WrestleMania bracket. It's your boys from the Elsamplerpod. And before we get started, I just want to say, as you see from this graph right here, 90% of you mothersuckers aren't subscribed to the channel and you watching the content. Subscribe, mothersuckers. And if you are subscribed, watch the videos, okay?
Exactly.
I'm sick and tired.
It's either or. It's either or.
It's either or, okay? If you subscribe, I'll kiss you. And if you watch the content, I'll kiss you. Either way, it's a win-win for you suckers, dude, because you're going to get kissed by the best. Okay?
I'm not going to ask what'll happen if they do both. But
I double kiss. Okay. We are back with part 2 of the Sweet 16 bracket. Okay. And you might be asking yourself, hey, these guys are wearing the exact same thing. And I just noticed that Juan and Javi are both wearing Kevin Owens shirts. JJ is still dying from his cough and he still hasn't recovered. But we're still here, guys.
Zero.
Okay. So we are going to start off part 2 of the Sweet 16 bracket with my personal, one of my favorites. But this is where the argument's gonna lie. My favorite moment out of all of these is number 15. Rollins pulling off the heist of the century. I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and start it off. Go ahead.
JJ, start. Dale. You want me to start? Okay, Dale. You're busy. All right, I'll start. All right, cool. So I'm going with WrestleMania 13. I'm going with Bret against Stone Cold. Bret's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Mark.
It made Stone Cold. We're all marks.
We are.
But like I said before, like I said in the previous episode, this made Stone Cold. There's nothing bigger than Stone Cold. He's the biggest of all time. The most money ever made, ever. So, and you have Bret Hart, probably the best worker of all time in one match. And granted, it was on a very small type of WrestleMania because it was when they were in their down years. This WrestleMania literally saved WWE from a certain point of view.
Okay, I'm gonna go next because I feel like I know where JJ is gonna go with this, and I want to try to see if I can convince him to change his mind. Picture you know, JJ. You're 11 years old.
8 pound, 6 ounce, newborn infant.
JJ.
Don't even know a word yet.
Watching WrestleMania 31, and you're sitting there. Javi, you're 44, watching WrestleMania 31, sitting there, you know, all old and stuff.
Get off my lawn.
And you're watching this banger of a match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. They're over here beating the crap out of each other.
They did hit each other.
Okay, they were beating the crap out of each other.
Just clothesline Roman on the outside,
yep.
Like on the apron.
He sure did. And all of a sudden you just hear, and everybody, whoosh, and all of a sudden you just see Seth Rollins running down that long ass ramp, cashing in, doing this stupid little, come on, get up.
Good thing it wasn't Edge.
Good thing it wasn't Edge.
Now he would have died halfway through.
And you're like, oh my God, his cash is about to fail, and he fucking curve stomps Roman Reigns. He curve stomps Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar F5s Roman. He kicks Brock out and then he takes the pin. We end the night with this man carrying the WWE Heavyweight title, spinning it around like he normally does, and then the fireworks going off in the back. That's why I give my vote to Seth Rollins.
So I'm the tiebreaker. I mean, you do have a good point, Juan.
Nah, dude, fuck Javi.
Hey, but what's more important at the end of the day?
A good point. However, I feel like for most of our viewers, they probably don't remember that. But I have to go with Juan because without that moment, we wouldn't have the Seth Rollins
bracket busted, dude. Busted bracket here, dude. Number 15.
It's not a bad moment. I agree with it, but in the end of the day, I mean, come on, Seth Rollins against Stone Cold. It's not even close, bro.
Yeah, dude, but this is our generation, dude. Your
generation.
Your generation.
Why didn't we put it in the bracket if we weren't gonna?
It was a great moment, dude. But I sat here and I was thinking about all these moments, you know, and I'm like, you know what, dude, this was a great moment. I went back.
I mean, it was in a vacuum. I mean, in a vacuum. Don't get me wrong. It's an amazing moment, especially the part where everybody was saying thank you, Rollins, after. Because they didn't want Roman to win.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't want Roman to win. So that was actually cool. And believe me, I loved it. I loved it because it was cool.
It's like, okay, you had your moment to talk. Now, my moment is, my reason is, So
10 minutes later,
you literally had Seth Rollins. Like if that doesn't happen, you don't have the Seth Rollins that we have now. If that doesn't happen, you don't have the Roman Reigns that we have now. Pretty much. So point
See?
proven. We're done. Seth Rollins is the winner. Stone Cold, get your ass back to the line.
Whoa!
I still don't.
Javi.
I still don't agree with that at all. Because
Hold
anyways,
on.
if you really look at everything, Seth Rollins can still be the same guy. And I know that you were gonna go with Roman Reigns because they always anything that has
Cocking the
Roman Reigns
fist,
on it.
dude. Cocking the fist, you know.
Yeah, always.
All right, guys.
Now the
Rollins
next- come on.
moves on. Next up, we got number 7, Rey Mysterio beating Angle and Orton at WrestleMania 22 versus number 10, the first ever ladder match, HBK Splash from the very top. Who you going with, guys?
So this was the first ever ladder match.
First
right?
ever ladder match, I believe it was WrestleMania 10 versus Rey Mysterio beating both Angle and Orton to win the championship after Eddie dying.
I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio because it was more memorable, especially it was for a better cause.
I agree with JJ. Ray, one, Latino, obviously, so have to represent. 2, yeah, the whole Eddie thing was great.
Yeah.
3, the opponents he faced too. It wasn't
That's
like
true.
he beat any scrubs. So I definitely think it's a much bigger moment. And granted, I love Razor Ramon. Shawn Michaels not so much, but I love Scott Hall. He was amazing, one of my favorites of all time. But and it was historic because it was like one of the first big ladder matches ever. Yep. But at the end of the day, I mean, the whole Ray thing was never gonna get his flowers as he did that moment.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so Rey Mysterio moves on because I completely agree. So then now another good debate I think we'll have. Number 3, Daniel Bryan defeating Triple H in the beginning of the card, and then going on to face Randy Orton and Batista for both titles, and then also winning versus Eddie Guerrero and Benoit, ending WrestleMania 20 after Eddie Guerrero beating Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit beating Triple H and Shawn Michaels by submission. I think we all know the story of Eddie and Chris, being best friends, coming from ECW to WCW. Short guys, not really much emphasis, but then all of a sudden both winning championships and ending the night. So who are you guys going with?
I'm going with Brian. Period.
I'm gonna still go with Brian.
I would have gone with Eddie, and even though that murder was on here, right? But I think that's still a special Mania. But yes, I don't think Daniel Bryan was still very special. It was great. It was a movement, man. That was crazy. That was a crazy night.
And then again, the opponents he beat too. Daniel Bryan had a singles against Triple H, and then a 3-way afterwards. While
Evolution.
Amazing match. We thought we were done with that.
Never.
Evolution lives for life.
And then so D. Bryan moves on, and then that leaves us with our final moment, or the final battle. We got number 6, Roman Reigns, double champ, Mania 37 versus Hogan slamming Andre at WrestleMania 31 at the 11th spot.
I already know where Javi's gonna go.
And I already know where you're gonna go.
He's gonna go with Hogan.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, brother.
I was there. I could already drink beer at the time.
Jesus Christ.
It was legal already, bro.
Hogan slamming Andre was definitely what launched the specialness of WrestleMania, right? Everybody knows the moment, but the only reason why I'm not gonna pick it is because I believe that dude Big John Studd also power slammed Andre, I think at WrestleMania 1. So it ain't that special, okay? So I'm going with the Tribal Chief. JJ's dying, give him water.
He needs some milk.
The Tribal Chief beating Brock Lesnar, even though it was not that great of a match, guys. If we're being honest with
It
each
wasn't
other,
WWE.
right?
It was actually Harley Race.
Oh, Harley. Okay, there you go.
Ages ago, but this was even before WWE.
There you go. So like, both matches were forgettable, except for that one moment and Roman Reigns at the end standing tall, title, looking like a queef. I mean, the chief. You know what I'm saying? JJ.
No, we still don't know what it's going to lead to in the end of the day. So it's a big question mark. So
yeah, we still got to talk about that.
It can turn into a bigger thing than it actually is right now.
It can. It definitely can.
So I definitely have to go with the tribal chief Roman Reigns.
Oh, come on.
I
You
guess
weren't
the
fooling
word.
anybody,
Yeah, I know,
bro.
right?
The worst ever.
The worst surprise of all time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that means this side of the bracket, Rollins upsets Stone Cold. Rey Mysterio moves on. Daniel Bryan defeating Eddie and Chris, and Roman Reigns. So just so we get a recap for the next video, our Elite 8, we're gonna have Brock versus the I'm Sorry I Love You, Hogan versus Kofi Mania, Rollins versus Rey, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns.
Oh,
damn,
that's gonna be tough, bro.
Whoa.
That's gonna be more than 15-minute
Yeah.
video.
All right, we'll see. All right, guys. We thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment if you think JJ's wrong, as always. And let us know how handsome you think Javi is. Appreciate you guys watching.
No.
Bye.